Hi everyone and welcome back to the Elder Abuse If You Suspect Something, Say Something training. This is part 5, supporting older people and some resources and referrals for you. So we'll get started with just some ways to support your older clients. We've spoken a lot about ways to have the conversation and ways to help them once you know something's going on, but we just wanted to flag a few things that we could suggest to you to do just to keep in touch with your older clients and to keep them connected to community. So I'll pass over to Lynn to talk us through some of these signs.
So some really great points here about how to keep engaging with our older clients in the community. First point there is to stay in touch with your older clients and listen and respect them. The second point is to encourage clients to make decisions for themselves. So don't take away those decision-making processes that people have. Encourage and assist clients to plan ahead. So, you can look at making goals with people.
From a lawyer's perspective, planning ahead often means the more legal processes that you have to go through, your will, all of those things. Tanya, do you want to talk about why those processes are so important?
Yeah, so as Lynn said, it's about putting the control in the older person's hands. And when we plan ahead, it lets them decide what they want to happen in the future. So if they were to lose capacity, who would they want making decisions? You let them make that decision in advance and you give them that power to plan what their future's going to look like. So you ask them, if they were in a vegetative state, would they want an advanced care plan? Have they done a will? What would they want to happen to their property? So it's planning ahead for the future, but keeping the decisions in the older person's hands.
So encourage older people to stay as socially active as possible. I think sometimes we can sort of fall into that sort of mindset of we need to help older people maybe get up or help them walk across the road, grab their hand or whatever. I think as much as what older people can do for themselves is really helpful for them to maintain as active as possible and as connected to their community as possible.
And part of that is, so sometimes when you're a carer, it can be a priority to think, okay, well, I've got to help this person get to medical appointments and I've got to help them go to the dentist. But you forget that you can also help them stay socially active. That's equally as important. So taking them and dropping them off at a cafe so that they can have a coffee with a friend, it doesn't sound like it's important, but it actually is. And it's something that we can forget because it's not on the list of priorities, but it is something that people should be doing.
And we know that isolation is a real risk factor for elder abuse, so keeping your older clients connected with social things is really important because it gives them a network for support as well too.
Well, just on from that also is about encouraging older people to explore maybe online activities, training, learning and socialising. So linking them into services like Be Connected Network.
So Be Connected Network is a government-sponsored program that supports older people to learn online literacy, and it's free.
Also encouraging outdoor activities, watching out for warning signs. We've talked about those warning signs in some of the previous slides. So just, always keep that in your mind as you're working with someone. If something doesn't feel right, and is a bit out of place, it's something to start sort of thinking about. Offer carer support to carers. So linking in, I guess, the carers in a situation, extremely important. And it's, helping to reduce some of the stresses that might lead to elder abuse. So looking at the whole sort of system there, people who are coming in, providing extra support is really helpful to have supports for them as well. Educate others and check in on ageism, yours and those around you.
So we're now just going to talk about the help and support that's available to those of you that are on the Central Coast. So Mary, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Look, this is a very small list of supports, but, if you're working with a client that needs some legal assistance, then you can contact your local legal aid office at the Elder Abuse Service. It's at our Gosford office. The number's 4324 5611. The other legal assistance service on the Central Coast is the Central Coast Community Legal Centre, which is a community legal centre that's based out in Wyong, that's got really deep connections to our Aboriginal community, and you can contact them on 43534988. You know, when you're dealing with older people, one of the things that you're looking at is their safety. And for older clients that are in unsafe relationships, Staying Home Leaving Violence, which is run by Catholic Care, is a great service to support older people to live more safely at home. And the number is 43111600. I put up Yeren Medical Centre because it's an outstanding Aboriginal health centre in Wyong. And for our Aboriginal community, it's the centre of a lot of things related to health and wellbeing. And the number for Yeren is 43511040. And then generally you might be aware that to be eligible for My Aged Care services, older people might have to be assessed by their local ACAT team, which is their Aged Care Assessment Team. And they run out of Wyoming, and their number is 43040700. And we've put on the bottom, if you know someone or you are experiencing elder abuse, you can call the Elder Helpline. And that number, 1-800-353-374, is a national number that will direct you to your relevant state-based service.
So, Lynn, when you first started in the team as a social worker, you found something that was fabulous that we hadn't known was out there yet, which is called a community directory. Can you tell us a bit about that one?
Generally, when I start a new position anyway, have to have a look for, and coming into a new community, have to have a look for what the services are in that local community. You usually find different resources that are out there, but the one that I found was from Coast Community Connections, and it's called the My Community Directory. So it's got a really comprehensive list of services that are available in a local area, and it's all listed by, I guess, the sort of topics that you might be interested in, like accommodation or ageing, health. So it just gives a little synopsis of what the service is and a phone number. But you can also look on a local council website. They have services there as well. But your service might have a little directory of its own too that you might want to talk to a manager or somebody about when you're wanting to talk to somebody and give other phone numbers or supports.
So if you're watching this training webinar and you're in the Central Coast area, there's a link to the My Community Directory in the resources. But if you're in another area and you're listening to this, then probably do what Lynn suggests and go onto your local council website and have a look for a community directory. Okay, so we'll move on now. Just before we talk about the supports that we can give in the elder abuse service, Mary, do you want to just run over again what those eligibility criteria are for the elder abuse service?
Thanks, Jess. So for the elder abuse service at Gosford Legal Aid, clients need to live on the Central Coast. So we're bound by the geography of the Central Coast. Our clients must be over 65 years or over 50 for our Aboriginal clients, and they must be at risk of or experiencing elder abuse.
How can the elder abuse service help? So we've got two sections here. We've got what lawyers can do and what the social worker in our team can do. So obviously the lawyers in our team and the social worker help with all types of elder abuse, but I just wanted to run through some of the other things that they can assist you with.
Yeah, so on the legal side of things, we can help with issues around powers of attorney and guardianships. We don't prepare those documents, but we do give advice about how they're used and any problems that may come up because of them, or if there's any capacity issues and an application needs to be made for an attorney or a guardian. We can also provide advice around housing problems, including granny flat arrangements. We can provide advice around AVOs and domestic violence, and also around problems with Centrelink.
Yeah, we do a lot of work for older clients who've had money taken from them. So a lot of our work, probably most of our work, centres around issues around housing problems and money problems.
Great. And Lynn, do you want to tell us a bit about the work that the social worker can provide?
So as a social worker on the team, I can provide support such as counselling. Quite a lot of people coming into the service, this might be the first time that they've spoken about what has been happening for them. So providing somebody that's there to be able to, give them some support, some counsel, maybe refer to other supports and services for ongoing help as well on a longer term basis if needed, facilitate family meetings as well. If you want to be able to, I guess, have further discussions with your networks and people in your life, maybe the older person's become isolated from some of the other family that they'd like to link in with again. So there's quite a variety of support I can provide around that as well. Connecting and reconnecting clients with social groups and community support. So that's that referral out, looking at, I guess, the predominantly though, it's sort of asking the person what they need and what sort of supports they would like to have ongoing from here to be able to maintain that connection into the community and reduce that isolation. Also helping, I guess, clients to feel safe. So making some maybe safety plans if there's been violence in their life, looking at what and how we can reduce those concerns and provide more safety around that person and help them feel, safe at home again. And explaining the legal processes in plain language. I guess, there's different languages that we all speak in our different work. And sometimes it can be difficult to understand, especially when someone's coming in and they're quite sort of distressed and not able to hear everything quite so well. I can sort of take that time and explain things a little bit more differently maybe than my colleagues who are in the legal field.
Now we're just going to move on to other services that are available for assistance across New South Wales and that have more information. Okay, so we'll just run through some of these services that we think are good places to get information from, and just remember they're out there when you're making referrals for clients.
So the first one we've got there is 1-800-RESPECT, and that number is 1800-737-732. We've got the Seniors' Rights Service, which is a community legal centre that provides statewide service to older people, and their number is 1-800-424-079. And Relationships Australia, 1300-364-277, and some Relationships Australia have specialist elder abuse mediation services as well too.
Of course, there's Legal Aid New South Wales, and the New South Wales number is 1300 888 529. There's also your local community justice centres. To get in contact with your local one, you can contact the number 1800 990 777.
So Council of the Ageing New South Wales, they're an organisation that provides a variety of different supports for older people. Their number's 1-800-449-102.
There's also the Older Persons Advocacy Network, OPAN. Their number is 1-800-237-981. And Carers New South Wales, who provide a lot of care and assistance to people in the role of carers to help them with their duties and obligations and some of the stress they might be experiencing. Their number is 1-800-242-636.
And there's the Ageing and Disability Abuse Helpline, 1-800-628-221. And lastly, we've put down Compass down there because Compass is a national website that has an amazing amount of information about elder abuse nationally. It's got some fantastic videos. It gives you information about a number of different services nationally. It's a fantastic website.
And then that number again, which is the National Elder Abuse Hotline, which is 1-800-353-374. So in New South Wales, that means you would be diverted to the Ageing and Disability Abuse Helpline, which is also on that screen. There's a lot of numbers, we understand, but we're just trying to make it as clear as possible for you. So essentially both that Elder Help number and the Ageing and Disability Abuse Helpline will go to the same place if you're calling from New South Wales. Just wanted to pop on the screen a few of the resources that are also available for you to access. So there are some publications that Legal Aid have up that you can order those for free, and you can have those in your services or organisations. So there's a few there, Helping Your Family Financially. That one there you can see is Moving In with Family. There's also some resources from the Ageing and Disability Commission. The Elder Abuse Helpline has some great tip sheets. The compass.info website that Mary mentioned has got a link to all of these resources. And Seniors' Rights Service has some wonderful resource kits, and those are a few of their guides that you can see on the screen there as well.
And the Compass website also, I didn't mention before, has links to a number of toolkits, which is a great resource when you're looking at like risk factors for elder abuse, what questions you should ask, information about how to have difficult conversations. It really is a great one-stop shop for resources.
And just a reminder as well that a lot of these services do offer these brochures and pamphlets to be ordered and delivered for free. But talking from Legal Aid's perspective, you can order our publications for the Elder Abuse Service for free from our publications page on the Legal Aid website. So the Elder Abuse Service has brochures and wallet cards and postcards as well that you can order with information about our service. And just other things that the Elder Abuse Service is doing that you can stay connected with us. You can subscribe to our e-newsletters and stay up to date with resources and services in the area and in the elder abuse space. So there'll be a link to that as well in the resources of this webinar. And that's all from us for this part and for this series. So thank you very much for joining us. As always, if you are on the Central Coast, the best thing to do would be to get in contact with the Elder Abuse Service here at the Gosford Legal Aid Office. You can do that by emailing elderservice@legalaid.newsouthwales.gov.au or by calling 4324 5611. If you're not on the Central Coast, then please do call that National Elder Abuse Helpline, 1-800-ELDER-HELP or 1-800-353-374, or visit compass.info for more information.